All right, guys, now listen, I'm gonna do something that no self-respecting YouTuber should ever do if they don't know how to weld. I'm gonna show you my welds. Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders, welcome back to Peaks Peak. Today, we've got an upgrade planned for the Kubota BX23S. So we're gonna do something to the Kubota BX today that we should have done a long time ago. And it involves this. Apparently I left the garage door up and chicken laid an egg in the bucket of the tractor. Now, I need a flat spot on each side of this hook, and I don't want to use a cutoff wheel, so I'm going to see what the plasma cutter will do to this. I have no idea if it'll cut this or not. It's obviously pretty thick. I'm going to see what it does. All right, guys, so for ages I've been needing to weld a hook on the front of my bucket, and they actually sell weld-on hooks that have the flat spots and everything you need, but you know me, I'll wait until I decide, man, I gotta have a hook, and I went to Tractor Supply, and the only thing they had were these 3/8 with the pin that goes through them. So I thought, well, I can cut it and make it fit. So that's what I've done. I got me a piece of angle iron, and I'm going to brace the bucket welding this in. I'm going to fix the structure that I attach the hook to so that it doesn't put too much stress on the thin metal of the bucket. So I'm going to use some of the existing structure and then put my angle iron in here and weld it up and kind of strengthen it. That way I've got a good strong spot to pull from so I don't do any other damage to the tractor along the way. So this is basically how we're going to attach this. I'm going to clean the orange paint off, and I'll weld this piece of angle iron to this lip and kind of structurally support all of that, and then we're going to tie into this back here. That way it's all tied together, and that should give us some pretty good strength there. All right, guys, now listen, I'm gonna do something that no self-respecting YouTuber should ever do if they don't know how to weld. I'm gonna show you my welds. I mentioned the other day in one of my videos, farm welds don't have to be pretty, they just have to hold. And everything I know about welding, I've learned by just grabbing a welder and welding and figuring out what holds and what doesn't hold. And I will be the first to admit, I am definitely no welder, but I can get things to stick together. And so, a lot of you guys that really know what you're doing, you can pick these apart, I understand that. But with what I've built here, it's going to hold what I'm going to be lifting with this hook. So it is what it is. You can pick on me if you want to, it doesn't bother me. But anyway, I'll show you my product. Okay, so I gave you the whole walk around, and I will tell you what my dad told me about welding, and that is don't worry so much about trying to make it pretty by grinding half of the weld off, because you're gonna grind off what's gonna make it hold. So I don't grind up my welds and try to make them pretty. I try to leave it all there, and that's just that much more that might help make it stick. So that's my philosophy with it. Do with that what you want. But I'm excited to finally have this hook on my tractor, and I stopped by the Kubota dealer on my way home because Tractor Supply was out of Kubota orange paint, Rural King was out of Kubota orange paint, so the only place left to go was the dealer. And I walked in and they had two different brands of spray paint in Kubota orange, and I said, well, what's the difference in price on these? And the one guy said, well, I don't know how much either one of them are, but I know the Kubota's expensive. And I said, well, I'm cheapskate, so I'll take the other one. Well, it was expensive too. $19 a can, expensive. But we got some Kubota orange, so we're gonna shoot this with some paint and make it look halfway decent, and then we'll be ready to roll. All right, guys, so we got our hook on there and ready to roll, and our paint does not even come close to matching. Now my guess is they had maybe like old Kubota orange tractor paint and new Kubota orange tractor paint, and it might have been nice if maybe the dealer had mentioned that to me. Maybe not. Maybe it's just because I cheaped out and bought the $20 a can paint instead of the $28 a can paint. I don't know, but regardless, I got two different colors of orange on my bucket, but I really don't care that much. In fact, I even kicked around the idea of not even stopping to get orange paint and just hitting it with some primer and then painting it black or gray or whatever I had here at the house, because I just don't want it to rust. That's my main concern. But that's probably a little too janky for a relatively new tractor. So I decided, well, I'll try to do it right this time. And here we are. But that's all right. We got a bucket hook on the front of our tractor, and in our next video, we're gonna put it to use because we got a project to do with it. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I appreciate you all watching. You all have a good day.